Today we'll be talking about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. Full spoilers after our little opening credits. So if you haven't seen the episode yet,
I don't know why I
don't
thought you'd be watching.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, but we are going to talk about it.
Yes. See you in a sec. All right, episode 3 of season 8. We're not going to go through the whole episode.
Episode 70.
Episode 70, exactly. We're not going to go through the whole episode piece by piece. We're just going to jump to the good stuff. We're jumping to the end, and that would be Arya Stark, MVP. Yes.
I always encourage people to watch our old stuff, but Arya was my favorite character in the book. You know, at the beginning of the show, I griped about kind of how they were downplaying how big of a badass she was, but they've stepped that up, so I'm only looking forward to the books even more now, knowing how maybe she evolves even in the books, but her character development, going from, kind of a shitty little kid who is not necessarily self-entitled. She worked hard, but she was kind of felt like she was deserved, a better place. She deserved to be treated better than she was. She deserved all these things, but then as the story went on, instead of feeling like she was deserved that, she earned it.
She hated the place that they were like, this is what you have to be.
Yeah.
And she never wanted to be fill that role. She wanted to do her own thing.
It wasn't tomboy, but like if you look at Merida and Brave. You talk about Disney movies. It was very much that she didn't feel her role was to be a princess, to be grow up courtly.
Exactly.
She had other things in mind. But even seeing that as a kid, where she grew up very bratty and kind of headstrong, she developed as a character. And when we talk about character development over the series, hers by far.
Oh yeah, there were entire season where you're doing the whole storyline of her becoming an assassin, basically, and I don't think they did it the best in the show. But even during that time, you're like, what is the point of this? Well, this was the point. This was a journey that she was going on from the beginning to become that character that could defeat the Night King. And she did it in a way nobody saw this coming. And if anybody, unless there's a video with the date stamp in the past, I've heard no theories that Arya was going to use her assassin skills to take out the Night King. I've heard no, and I've seen a lot of theories. But the fact that it was that moment, brand new, clearly, what was coming. It wasn't going to be a sword fight with Jon Snow or Daenerys, swooping in with her dragon. No, it was going to be Arya using the skills she has mastered over several years now to take him out.
I challenge one of you, anybody, not just our viewers, but anybody in YouTube land, to put together pieces that maybe would hint to her being the one that did it. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, I haven't heard anybody say it.
I haven't.
But now that they know it, I wonder how many little tidbits were out there. Her having the dagger.
The dagger was
there's a lot of little things that I think that maybe
I would like to go back
to that
and see if there was anything when her training.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Where they were setting her up to be able to do it. I don't know. I don't know if it was that thought out or not. I don't know. But yeah, just that journey to lead to that moment. And I think I jumped up a little bit when it happened and applauded. It was earned. It made sense to the story.
She's been my favorite character through the books. One of my favorite characters in the show. But like we were saying, if you're looking at why she was training, we're thinking maybe she's going to be the one to kill Cersei.
Yeah.
But now that she killed the Night King, I think that's her story kind of wrapped up. It doesn't mean that she's not going to be useful in the battle against Cersei, but I think that it's going to be somebody else. Because I originally thought that it was either going to be Jaime or Arya that killed Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that was going to happen last season. But now that she was the one, her skills we're assuming to take out like Cersei.
Well, between the phrase and now the Night King, those skills have paid off. All of that journey is paying off. So we're gonna go just run through. A lot of people died. Night Watch guy. I forgot the guy's name, and we didn't feel like looking it up. But Night Watch guy died. Jorah. I didn't care, and I'll tell you why I didn't care, and I blamed them in this particular episode when he jumped out of nowhere to save her. It was, I don't know. It was a little annoying. It's like there's no way that he was there at that time to save her. Plus, I don't know, his character arc, I felt, I don't know, I'm over it, basically.
But I think that, similar to what you're saying, Dany's never been able to fight. Daenerys has never been able to, she just was immune to fire and had dragons.
That's true.
So everybody respected her. She was able to
She never had
command.
to, yeah.
She was able to command a presence. So now she's stuck in a place where her dragon's not around. She's falling on the ground as hundreds of these undead are flying at her. Somebody, unless that's how they were going to kill her off, was going to have to jump to her aid.
Sure.
I think they could have done a better job of setting that up, though. Maybe dropping her right outside the castle instead of in the middle of this field.
Or had a couple more scenes of him watching
Yes.
the battle. I don't know, just the way it was. I
I felt it was rushed and unexplained.
Yeah.
Which hopefully isn't a thing to come where they're not explaining shit.
Yeah. So we also lost Theon. I really don't care. I've said we were talking about it during the episode. Oh, and Larry is not here again.
We were texting back and forth.
We've been in communication with him, but I never thought of Theon could be redeemed, and I
Theon's
don't
bitch
care.
made.
Hey, so the Bran gave him his little moment basically. It was like, all right, you're forgiven. You're a good guy. Fine. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Our first reaction was Night King walks into the little.
When
he walks in and Theon's like, I got this.
Spencer's like, what do you think if Theon kills him? I said we would talk for about 30 minutes on why I'm not watching the next 3 episodes. That's what was going to happen.
Because there's no reason for that. Like, it
No.
wouldn't have made any sense.
It did, obviously.
It wouldn't be to, kind of hammer out his story arc. Like, there would be no reason whatsoever.
Melisandre, finally gone. She served a purpose in this whole episode, helping at the right stages. Even as far as getting Arya to realize her purpose. So, important character. It's conflicting because on the one hand, Melisandre is extremely important to the whole story. Bringing back Jon, helping in this battle, helping Arya. But at the same time, she brutally, that's a dog if you heard that, she brutally murdered a child for no reason. She thought it was for a reason.
But see, that's what I'm saying is like all these things where she's kind of steering people in the right direction and helping. She claimed to have like this forethought and this insight. To me, it was very much her just buying into her own bullshit. And in the end, she was just like, well, fuck, I gotta help any way I can. Like, it wasn't, I saw this or I did that. I think that towards the end, she was just like, well, fuck. I have this power, I have to help. Because why else would she brave coming into, where Davos said, if I ever see you again.
She had said, I think it was last season or so, before she left, she said, I'll die in Westeros. Like, she, I guess, hadn't seen it or whatever. She also told Varys he would too. And I kept waiting to see if he was going to die in this episode. He didn't. Doesn't mean he won't by the end of the series.
Yes, but Westeros,
It's a large,
Brian, you're going to die in North America.
Yeah.
That's
right,
it.
Not necessarily.
Yes, but the likeliness of that is very high.
Yeah.
So, same thing with me. Me dying in a non-travel related incident is very high. Me being here.
And I saved the last death for last because it was the most epic and sad, but a great way to go out. Lyanna Mormont.
We watched the little after thing
Yes.
where the showrunners were talking about the reason they wanted to do it was to send her out in a big way. Have the smallest character take out one of the biggest, bad guys, which I think was a fitting way because her personality was bigger than life. Like she always came out not
she
afraid.
She refused to go down to the crypts. She said, "No, I'm going to fight on the top. If I die, I die." That she was a warrior. She led her people, and she was willing to die for her people. And she showed.
Which, as much as I don't really give a shit about Jorah, it seemed to be their family name because she fought.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
even remember the granddaddy Mormont's name, the Night Watch captain.
Papa Mormont.
Papa Mormont.
I don't know.
He was, fought until the bitter end. Like he was still, super old man, still going out and fighting the White Walkers and fighting. I mean, I think it's kind of a tribute to their name. And she, even as young and small as she was, lived up to that moniker.
Yeah. When I just wrote a note, when they were coming over the wall, there was a moment where there's like skeleton guys and they're fighting, and I'm like, this is like Army of Darkness. So any Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi fans out there, it had an Army of Darkness moment that will remind me.
I have a slight gripe about that though, because
Oh, I have a gripe, and go ahead
Okay.
and I'll tell you.
you have, and this is medieval history, like they had the oil traps and stuff. We know that the White Walkers were susceptible, or not the White Walkers, the undead were susceptible to fire.
Oh yeah.
So
you
why
can
the
tell-
fuck
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
they have like oil or rocks or anything to pour over the sides of these walls? Did they waste all of it in the trenches? They had to have something. Were they relying on their swords to catch them as they came up? Because John, now it's a small group of people that saw that in the Hard Home episode where they were coming up over the wall when they were trying to get the boats and everything.
Yeah.
So they had to have, discussed that. Hey, they're capable of doing this. These walls aren't going to protect us. So they know that fire was going to slow them down. So they tried to, do this the trench filled with fire. But I don't get why they didn't
Some of the
try to
strategy
implement.
was odd.
Yeah.
My gripe was actually more of a production gripe. It's too dark. I'm sorry. The episode was too dark, especially the first half, the first act of this episode, when I understand the night, he's making it cold and he's bringing in the winter and it's cloudy. I get it. He's trying to cut down their visibility and make it more difficult for them. But as a viewer, I was like, I can't see. Like there were several. We had to rewind it a couple times, change even the TV's brightness level. It was very dark, and there were scenes where it was difficult to make out who was who, what was actually happening. I think they were trying to cover up, some of the effects. and
Well, I
stuff
think some of that
to
makes
I
it,
get it, but
talk about production budget, making it cheaper. You don't have to spend as much on makeup, not as much on special effects. You can kind of reuse different.
But if you go back to the
zombies
Battle
and
of the
stuff.
Bastards, where you clearly can see stuff,
Well, you use the smoke and stuff. You could use like a fog to kind of obscure some of that stuff, but I think making it a little brighter. I understand it's at night, but the entire place was on fire.
yeah.
Like everything was on fire at that point. So for it to be that dark, the beginning I understood because to me like you were saying, a horror movie.
They were trying to make it like a horror thing, which was fun.
Them not seeing what was coming at them until the last second. I understood that, but once there was fire involved, that should have went away. Once there was fire there, it shouldn't have been so dark that you couldn't see anymore.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah, because there was times when they were up in the air, like the dragons were
I
fighting each
couldn't
other,
see
and
anything.
Danny was. I didn't know which was which. I didn't know which dragon was
well,
which.
it got to a point, especially the dragon stuff in the air. There was a point where I was like, what's the point of showing me this?
I don't know, but I'm gonna let the dog outside because she was scratching.
Okay.
Hold on.
But I was like, the dog. What's the point of showing those scenes? Why not just every so often show up in the air, the people look up and maybe see the dragons dueling? I don't think you necessarily needed some of those shots. Now the one shot was beautiful when the two dragons went above the clouds, and you
Reminded me of the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton where he takes the.
It was a beautiful shot, but yeah.
Fantasy.
That's my
movie.
complaint for the episode. I mean, you can agree or disagree. That's fine. But
Yeah, I didn't have a lot. I had a couple
No.
of strategy things, but I imagine that thinking about that even, how terrifying would it be to see like waves of undead people? So them not being able to execute parts of their plan would not have surprised me. So that didn't get it. And also they talked about it too. Danny was the one that threw the wrench in the whole plan. They fucked the whole plan up when she was like, "Oh no, my Dothraki are all getting murdered." So she goes out and tries to take the dragon to kind of help, which
they did.
I don't
get
blame
murdered
her.
pretty quickly. Yeah.
And I don't
But
blame her.
Jorah survived. That was
Yeah,
magically.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
where if anyone's like, bro, what's your issue with Jorah? He was just surviving some wild stuff. Like
He got, like,
he's
this
the one guy.
infection and kept-
The entire Dothraki army is wiped out. Jorah's the one guy that makes it back. I'm just saying it was a little much, in my opinion. I wouldn't have had him go out there with him. If you're gonna have them all get slaughtered, whatever. Yeah. So with that said, there's only 3 episodes left. That's it. We get 3 episodes. I think each is going to break an hour. I think they're going to be about the length of this episode, hour and 20 minutes. There are no 2-hour episodes. I checked. So this episode, I think, is roughly the length of the next 2 or 3 episodes. That's it. What's going to happen? I got a list of thoughts, and we'll go through them and discuss them. What is Bran's role going forward?
Well, Larry.
Yeah, Larry has a theory.
Me and Larry were talking
So,
a little bit. Let me pull it up, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to misquote him real quick.
Quote Larry.
We were talking about Theon being a bitch. And then I said, me and Brian are losing it, that maybe he was going to be the one to kill the Night King. But he says that the symbol of the Night King is still everywhere, and they haven't explained it at all. So me and Larry were talking a little bit. I was thinking that I've said that Bran's the Night King for a while, but that symbol, that even in the center, it's circular.
Yeah.
So, to me, the circle of life, to quote famous Elton John, but that I think that it's going to come for full circle, where it's going to show that maybe Bran is still the Night King. I have no idea, but to me, what other point would Bran have? Because he didn't share his vision or his knowledge of anything with anybody. If he was like, hey, you need to be here at this point in time because this is going to happen, then now Bran's importance is done.
Okay.
But without explaining it further, to me, Bran would be a sub-character who would give a shit. Like, you have to have some sort of explanation, because otherwise, why even...
It could go that route, though, because we were looking.
Don't be a lost. Come
Well,
on, guys.
Melisandre's purpose was to defeat the darkness coming. She did. She
Yeah.
died.
But what was Bran's purpose? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
To send crows and see where the Night King was?
This
I
was
didn't know.
something I mentioned in last week's video. There might be a chance where there is no explanation to the Night King, to Bran, that's
yeah.
all over. That, you know what? Maybe Martin thought of it as too Tolkien-esque, as far as the big bad. The real story is the politics. Who's going to be on the Iron Throne? Cersei. All that stuff. The politics of backstabbing and all that. The great evil is irrelevant. Now, I don't agree with that. I want to know the point of it all. But I don't know. I
But to
don't
me,
know that
you
we'll
could
get an
do
answer.
that.
You could
do that
you
in
could.
like 5-10 minutes.
I
That would
agree.
be easy. You do that in one conversation with Bran and Jon afterwards.
True.
So you start episode 4 in Winterfell still, and just tie that up, and then go back to Cersei. Let her kind of go through that part.
It's my phone.
But, to me, that would be more appropriate. Kind of tie it up. You could finish it in one conversation with Jon, him asking, what happened, and then Arya coming through, or him saying, I saw Arya coming to save me. Be like, the hell do you mean you saw Arya coming to save you? And then explain the backstory. You could do that in one quick conversation. You don't have to go into super depth, because we can, when the books finally come out, George, fucker,
Yeah.
you can do it in that. I just want even a short explanation as to why.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be long. And then focus on Cersei, because it's the Game of Thrones. I get it.
Yeah. All right, we had to break to bring the dog back in, so that was a cut. So Larry texted during the break, and he pointed out basically, what is the point of Bran warging into those ravens at that point in the battle? What was it he was doing? I mean, what was the point of it? And I'd have to go back and watch to see if there was anything significant maybe I missed. But yeah, why?
Well, they all ended up in the tree. Like that's
Yeah, then they flew, and then they saw the Night King, and then he started making his moves.
But see, the thing is that Bran never came out of his warg state until the Night King showed up.
So was he doing something else?
Yeah, because you saw
That
his
we didn't
eyes were
see.
still, because Theon was trying to make sure that he didn't die,
Yeah.
so he gets stuck in whatever it was that he warged into.
So I don't know. We'll know next episode, I'm assuming.
Oh,
What?
what if he was the undead dragon, trying to keep Jon at bay, so that he didn't fuck up Arya killing the Night King?
That John coming would have messed it up.
Yeah.
Damn. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I like that theory.
5 minutes at the beginning of episode 4. Just explain it real quick.
They might not explain nothing. I don't know. So, 3 episodes left. The Hound and Mountain. I'm assuming we'll meet Larry. That's been a Larry theory for a while. We thought the Hound might die in this episode. Larry's like, no, he can't because he's got to fight the Mountain. And right before the episode started, we were like, if he survives, he'll fight the Mountain. I'm pretty confident in that theory now that they will fight.
And that was the big speculation online of whether or not there'll be the Mountain Hound fight. And everybody was on both sides of the fence. Either he dies here or they're going to do it. So seems he didn't die. So hopefully.
Tyrion and Sansa. Is that a thing? I don't know.
I hope so.
It might
Like,
be. They're married, technically.
Yeah. And, she mentioned, you were the best.
Yeah, the best of them.
The best of them, talking about the best of the people that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I hope so.
It could go that route. It's possible.
I mean, real life is kind of creepy because she's.
In the book,
Even in the book, she's
very,
like 14 and
very
he's
young.
like 80. So
It's not 80. Is it? It's 80.
just looks 80.
And then the last two, we could talk about these for a while. What do we do with Daenerys and Jon? It appeared based on the trailer they showed us that it looked that everybody seems to be rallying around her.
Yes, but we were talking about that. There's like 8 people left. So those 8 people are
Well, that
rallying
goes into
behind
the next
her.
thing, yeah.
Like, so,
Does Jon say, and I could see him saying this, it's not important who I am. They don't need to know you're the queen. I could see Jon doing that.
well, yeah, because John doesn't give a shit.
I could see
So,
Jon
I don't-
saying, I will serve you. You are in charge.
Yeah, I think that that's a strong possibility.
And
However, I think that Dany's not going to let it go because she's, like I said, I think that there's too many parallels between her and the Mad King. And then, so now she lost Jorah. She lost, her right hand. She lost all her Dothraki. A large amount of the Unsullied are dead. So now she's basically relying on these people in the north who aren't,
Speaking of,
know,
Unsullied, Worm boy, just getting it.
but I think that she's going to have the problem with it. She's going to be her own undoing, and Jon's going to have to kill her because she's going to try and kill Jon. That's what I think.
How do you defeat Cersei? How? I have no idea.
Arya. Okay, next
Send
question.
her that way, that's not a horrible idea to send Arya in. But yeah, how do you defeat Cersei? The North has been crippled. They don't have the numbers. Everyone that Daenerys brought over, they're all dead. The dragons, they still got some dragons. They're hurt. One of them's hurt. Do we have a time jump? We are assuming Cersei's pregnant from Jaime. We're assuming Daenerys is pregnant. I don't know if they've confirmed that or not. Neither of them are showing. Are we going to jump in time? Do they march south?
Talk about pregnancies. If Dany was pregnant, there ain't no way she could still be pregnant. I mean, she fell 80 feet from a dragon.
She's a Targaryen.
Yeah, that's. I don't know that I would buy
They
that.
should get punched in the stomach.
She,
I don't know.
I don't know too many people who fall 80 feet from dragons
Targaryen.
and live to tell about it.
She's Targaryen. The assumption was that she was pregnant. We don't know. They haven't said. There's a prophecy. Well, there's a prophecy about someone having a child or something. I don't know. There's a lot of prophecies. Speaking of prophecies, now I just recalled what Melisandre was talking about. Arya taking out her enemies and the color of their eyes and she mentions blue eyes. She was referring to the Night King.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she also said green. So
I think those were already done. Because she named like 2 that Arya knew, and then she said blue at the end, referring to the. I don't remember who all she's killed at this point. Yeah.
I'm gonna see what color Cersei's.
There's a lot of prophecies, and some that have not yet been fulfilled in the show. I don't know if they will be. Yeah. What color is Cersei's?
Tell you in a second.
Color Cersei's eyes. I don't think Arya kills Cersei.
I don't either. But now I'm like, huh.
But yeah.
Trying to find a picture that's close enough. They look like brown. Yeah, they're like brown or hazel or.
So, yeah, that's it. Great episode. Too dark,
Oh, no.
in my opinion.
Nope. I think they're green.
Like green.
They look green in that picture.
Yeah, maybe they're green because she did mention green.
I don't know. I'll look up that quote. I'm sure there's 50 videos on it already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good episode. 3 left. I do have a feeling we're not going to get the answers as far as the Night King, but I could be wrong. And, yeah, there you go.
Even just give us partial answers. Just tie them up. You don't have to go into a full 80-minute, 2-episode explanation of shit. Tie it up. Let us wait for the books to get the full-blown 800-page R.R. Martin explanation as to who Bran is. We don't need that, but we do need. I think we need to tie the stories up. There has been rumors because there's spin-offs that they're trying to not tie everything up.
Yeah.
So that they have a point to the spin-offs, and they have.
That's true. I read a thing about that.
So I get that, but to me, not answering those questions kind of spoils what the spin-offs are. You know, because they're talking about this one's going to be thousands of years ago. So if you don't explain who Bran is, maybe they're going back to the,
Maybe
Children of the Forest
Yeah.
and that stuff. The first people, the first men.
So before we go, we ask this question almost all the time: who sits on the Iron Throne?
Arya. I still think Jon.
Jon.
Yeah.
I think Jon. I don't think Daenerys makes it. Whether it's self-sacrifice or she turns, I don't think she makes it through.
Or she dies on the dragon, because we talked about that. The King's Landing, the intro, which is a big spike taking out a dragon. If she's the one riding it.
Yeah. So all right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.
Tyrion. Kick Cersei's ass.
Okay. Subscribe
Sneak attack.
if you're not. Hit the like. Hit the bell. Hit everything. Leave a comment if you want Larry here. We need more upvotes.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah.
It's your bad you didn't guilt him enough to get him over here. Guilt him harder.
All right. Till next time.